Parlez-vous français? Many here in the North Country do speak French. In fact, it's part of their heritage. Many families that arrived in northern New York came from across the border in Canada and still to this day have strong connections to French Canada and France. Those ties were celebrated this past weekend at the Strand Theater in Plattsburgh, where SUNY Plattsburgh French professor Margaret Leone and one of her former students, Katie Inhelder, who now teaches French at AuSable Valley Central School, teamed up to showcase what their students are doing inside and outside the classroom to celebrate everything French.
Margaret and I had this idea for quite a few years, just getting the students together to celebrate what we're doing inside the classroom with the community. We are so fortunate to live in an area where French is spoken just across the border, as well as within the borders of Plattsburgh. So we got the idea a couple years ago, and finally we had funding for it. So at the Adirondack Community Trust, they have a Foreign Language Enhancement Fund grant, and we applied for that, and we were fortunate enough to get it and be able to host it here at the beautiful historic Strand Theater.
Students set up displays on French literature and landmarks, like the Notre Dame Cathedral, as well as samples of all kinds of French cuisine.
And I have kind of a fascination with French food. It seems really cool to me and kind of exotic since I've lived in New York most of my life. So that's kind of why I decided to do this.
And there were performances. SUNY French Club students read poetry and performed musical pieces. AuSable Valley French students also performed. 8th grader Sylvia Tardif played Mozart's The Magic Flute, which is currently playing at the Paris Opera House.
The reason I picked it was really just because I really like the song. It's fun.
I looked at it from a child's point of view, looking at children's songs like Frère Jacques, A Clair de la Lune, and Alouette. I played those three songs because they reminded me of when I was younger, and they reminded me of the French culture as well.
And Marley Faye sang one of the songs from the Broadway hit Les Miserables.
I think it's important because it helps us be connected around the world, and in a time that people are very divided, it's very easy to separate yourself from others. And I think that learning languages in different cultures helps everybody learn more about each other, which helps bring us together.
Katie says the North Country's proximity to Quebec was a major factor in deciding to host the celebration.
It's important because it's our roots, especially being here. Without the French Canadians and without the French Canadian influence, our area might look different. Many of our students' last names, Lapierre, Laroche, they all come from the French roots. Tremblay spelled a bunch of different ways. And I think it's important for people to remember where they came from and also to encourage the current Canadians who come down. So it's not only the past, but they're an important part of the economic community here.